Welcome to the Gransberry Chronicles weekly pick'em. It's week 8, and I'm your girl, the Gransberry, also known as the Stadium Queen. And I'm joined tonight by my boy D Jones on the left.
What
And
it do?
when we get our boy Coach Pat, he'll join in. But for right now, we're gonna get going and we welcome everybody to the show. As you know, we have moved Tuesday nights so we can light it up before the new week starts, get a little talk in about the week prior, and still do what we do. So, so we can keep it going pretty quick. I'd like for D Jones to go ahead and get those games out the way. Well, wait, I say that, but I want to get my week 7.
Yeah,
My week 7. I got to get my week
let's
7.
recap that thing.
So, honestly, it was last week when we were trying to come up with the games we wanted to talk about. We didn't really think we had some good matchups, but it's so funny because the statement of any given Sunday rang true again because we had some really good games on at the same time. And this was a perfect week in the Houston market for them to be on a bye because we could actually get both games at the same time. You didn't need anything special. And originally it was the Baltimore Ravens game and the Baltimore Ravens game versus uh, who were they beating up like crazy?
Detroit.
Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And their game was switched off. And so when they switched over, so we had the Bucks and the Falcons, and we had the Colts and the Browns. And both games came down to the very, very last play in
Mm-hmm.
different setups. So the script is going well, guys. The script is going well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, as a football fan, we constantly see games end with a kick, a field goal. And so that's one of Coach Pat's big themes. This is a field goal game. And so we definitely had a field goal game, but I don't think anybody expected what happened at the end of the Colts and Browns game. And at the end, depending on what team you're on, obviously you feel like failed opportunity, missed moment,
Bad
frustration.
calls,
Yes,
whichever way you want to do it.
right.
Yeah.
But for me, if you just go with the moment was big, right? And when the ball snapped, and for those who didn't see it, I'll try to give the best visual I can. The Colts were backed up in their own end zone and they had the ball, and the hope was to get a playoff, you know and at the next thing in my mind I'm thinking, don't get a safety, because that definitely would end the game. Never did I think a fumble, the scramble, and the Browns landing on the ball for
Yeah.
a touchdown. I mean, you just can't write a better script. So I thought that was amazing. I didn't see obviously the entire game for the Bills and the Patriots, but I also thought that was a great ending to a game, to kind of get, Mac Jones some uplift. You have a few rough weeks. Everybody knows what that's like. You don't have to play football to know what it's like to have a few rough weeks and you just need a clean slate. We all go to work somewhere, and sometimes you need a good feel good moment, and for me, that's how I took that game.
Yeah.
That they got the feel good moment at the right time. And plus, as you always say, D Jones, what do you always say?
It's a
Division.
division game. It's a division game, and it's a division game with Belichick, right? So he knew.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
he know what to do against those guys. So
And the Sunday night game, we thought it was going to be a little bit more intense. It was starting out that way, and it was going. I still think it was a good game. To me, I mean, I know that, people have what they have an issue with every Sunday, officiating and things like that. But for me, I thought it was a really good game. And the reason I say that is because you always want to see if a team is trying to do something to improve. And I felt like, for what it was worth, the defense for the Eagles was putting on a little bit more pressure and consistency for 4 quarters of football, because I think they need that. I mean, I think for them, this was a good opponent to have in the season, because when you don't get to see such a fast-paced offense, if you think about it, we can't name 3 fast-paced offenses in the NFC right now. That's really all AFC. And
Mhm.
so with that in mind, they don't really, you can't really duplicate it to practice it. So I think the only way you can practice it is a game, right? And
Yeah.
so for me, that was about as close as they get to playing Kansas City in a sense.
Well, it's a legit Super Bowl contender that they would have to see, not just to even compare them with Kansas City or anything that they
Well,
don't get
only
in
because
AFC.
I right, but I only think about the consistency of QBs, the throwing far downfield, quick speed, receivers, just good
Well,
tight ends.
Kansas City don't even have that though. You know what I mean?
Well, good tight. Like I said, good tight end.
Right. Right in, yeah.
And Mahomes can get the ball downfield.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the speed. I'm talking about the,
Oh,
the
okay,
speed that
okay,
Miami
yes.
has.
And so,
Miami got
right,
speed everywhere. But
correct,
but
correct.
we also call that, right? So the reason we leaned on Philly was because we felt like their front line would be able to get the pressure that they need without, additional blitzes and be able to cover those receivers. And I think we called it right, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty good game.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, now let's shoot over to getting those games out the way.
All right. I think we agree. We don't have coaches' picks in early this week, but I think for the most part, Gransberry and I agree on most of the get them out the ways. We both picked Minnesota to beat Green Bay, Tennessee to beat Atlanta, the Colts to beat New Orleans, Miami to beat New England, even though it's a division game, the Jets to beat the Giants, Philadelphia to beat Washington. We also picked Seattle over Cleveland, Kansas City over Denver, Baltimore over Arizona, the Chargers to beat Chicago, and the Lions to win Monday night against Vegas. So let's talk about the ones that really matter to us this week.
It's funny you say that because I know you just mentioned get them out the way,
Mhm.
and something still came to mind, even though we said it's a get them out the way. Washington was the one team that showed us last year the early on weakness of
Philly,
the
they play
Eagles.
them well. Yeah.
Right. They played them very well. They ran on them. They just kept pounding and pounding. So it'll be interesting to see because once again, that's also a division opponent. And then, you get them twice and see if they're able to fish it out again, or is that still something that's not as powerful? Because you have a little bit of the opposite when you play Miami, right? It's
Mhm.
more of the strength of your secondaries is going to affect you more if you can't get pressure on the QB. And so, with that in mind, I'm looking forward to see if they've improved their run stop. So
Mhm.
the games that matter, or the games we chose to say
Yeah,
that
the
matter.
ones that matter to us, right?
All games matter. If it's your team matters. It just is not the highlight of the show. Okay. So
Okay.
first up is Jacksonville versus Pittsburgh. And a couple of weeks ago, we probably would not have, picked this game as a game to discuss, but we kind of ignited a little fire, in both teams, might I add.
Be gone.
The Jags start getting on a little roll after they lost to us, and then and of course that we know they love London, but after us still. And then the Steelers have been on a little run
Since
since
they
they
lost.
lost to us. So you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. But
Okay.
in the meantime, they really are playing some good ball. I would say that for Pittsburgh, but we don't doubt Pittsburgh. It's our other AFC team where as long as that coach is there, we don't have many doubts at this moment, no matter the personnel change on the field. And so I think this is a really good matchup. Pittsburgh is still known for their defense and how they come together on defense. And I think they definitely have a little bit more defense than we had the week we played them. Ours just showed up a little differently. And
Hey,
so I'll
they,
take that. But at the
they
same
defense
time,
travel. They didn't travel that week.
right, I think that they will be able to put a little stagnant in the Jags run. And so I'm going with Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah,
Biggie.
I agree with you. I think Pittsburgh being at home lets me lean that way.
Well, they won on the road last week now.
They did, but if they was on the road against Jacksonville, I may lean towards Jacksonville. But um, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here. I think Jacksonville, of course, can't beat them. They got all the tools to beat them. But I'm going with them riding high. Riding this wave. As Pickett has been playing better, and the defense is the defense. I think they're gonna always show up, especially in Pittsburgh. The defense is never it's funny, we were just talking about defenses travel, but they didn't travel to Houston very well, but they can always show up at home in Pittsburgh. So I'll always give them a nod there. And, Tomlin got them boys back on track. They need to win this game to keep up with, Baltimore in that division and keep things close and not get too far off track. So I'm with you with Pittsburgh on this game.
And I also would add to that, when you play in LA, for the most part, when you play the Rams, it's more of a transplant stadium, meaning it's a great opportunity for the fans of the visiting team
Yeah.
to take over. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out in about, I would say, 10 years, because it's going to take 6 to 8 for every team to have played there to see how that works out against the opponent. Because I would still say, for what it's worth, the Chargers have a more dedicated, fan base that's implanted there, than the Rams. I know the Rams were there, but I'm saying now. I'm just saying there's been so much time in between.
No, I'm with you. I dig. And then if they don't, coming off the Super Bowl, they was riding high. If they don't keep up winning, you know how fickle those fans go.
There's so much else to do. People say fickle.
I was about to correct myself. You're right. Yeah. You're right. It's when you said there's so much else to do, that's true. That's true. They have options. Yeah. They have so many options.
And I don't want to be, like a downer about it, but in a totally another opinion far over here, there's the issue of, Metroplexes have a hard time getting people into things that are more rural because there's so much to do in the city. And then in a place like LA, sports is an added thing. But what do you always think about when people grow up and they want to get in entertainment or Hollywood? They move to LA. So they move there for Hollywood, the work, right? Not just actors, all the work associated with it. So sports is just not the dominant thing. And I think basketball had always been easier to do.
Well, they make it an event. They got to continue to make it an event, right?
And I will say they do a great job about that. I think starting from the DJing to outside the stadium to picking the right opponent, the right entertainment to perform. I think this past weekend they had Ice Cube. And so you add so many other elements that it's an experience for the game.
I think Vegas falling in that category too.
You said who, Vegas?
Vegas, because I mean, who's not willing to go to Vegas, and then if your team is playing there, but yeah, they got to keep making it an event. So
we're gonna go back to the picks. You went with me. Brandon is back from his entanglement, so we're gonna bring in Brandon from his entanglement. Hello there, and how nice of you to join us, Coach.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? So we are picking right now the Jacksonville-Pittsburgh game.
And it's at Pittsburgh. I will go ahead and take I'm gonna take Pittsburgh. It might be an upset. The line, I believe, could be in Jacksonville's favor because of the record. Or Pittsburgh's actually lost 2 games. I'm shocked. I text y'all when I was like, wow, Pittsburgh is actually winning some games, especially after what we saw them in Houston live in color.
We just talked about that.
Yeah, so I mean, but it goes back to what we've always talked about. Belichick, Tomlin, he's never had a losing record. I mean, you can say what you want to say.
You added that one extra part, but I almost feel like you was listening to the show before you joined us, because you literally
no,
hit the same point.
I wasn't. I wanted to make sure it was all good because I mean, so but you know, we've had this discussion. I feel like it's a broken record, not a broken record. I feel like it's on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about Tomlin, Belichick, those coaches, and I'm going with Tomlin with this one because I mean you can almost put Doug Peterson in as well for Jacksonville as far as he pushes with those wins too, especially after they leave England. So I'm going ahead and go with
You're on mute. Gransberry, you muted.
Oh, so
I
was
tried.
I doing good? Could you ad lib well? Did you see my lips moving? Make out my words?
I saw your lips moving. That's how your lips moving.
I was saying B-Pat will be back. I'm gonna bring it back in a minute. He had kind of froze up a little bit, but we know he picked Pittsburgh, so I'm gonna get him back in here.
Yeah, and
All right,
Jacksonville a 2.5 point road favorite, like he said.
Okay, which is not much. Okay. Nah. All right. So next up is Tampa versus Buffalo. Now, originally the guys were kind of like that wasn't the game on their list, and so I will say that I pushed for it on the list because I think both teams came off a tough loss last week. You know, last second losses at that, and somebody gets back in the win column. You know, I think Buffalo should have enough to do that, but I still want to talk about the game. So for me, it's Buffalo. I think both quarterbacks are looking for a bounce back to a win, and that's pretty much my take on it.
Coach. So I say on this,
I say coach.
Oh, my bad. I ain't hear you. My bad.
It's okay. Go.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I'm going to pick Buffalo. It's Tampa versus Buffalo. It's at Buffalo. Correct. I mean, Buffalo should be pretty upset about the way they lost to New England, but it's every year Buffalo has one of these losses, and the New England loss was a Belichick loss per se. We talked about this before too, so I'm going with Buffalo at home on a bounce back, even though Tampa Bay lost a close one as well. I believe Baker is sitting out a couple practices because of a knee issue. But Josh Allen, we go back to what D. Jones has talked about. Which Josh Allen do we get? I'm going with Buffalo though.
Yeah, I heard somebody say earlier today that Josh Allen plays as well as the opponent. And so he plays down, basically saying he plays down to the team he's playing against. I don't think he's going to have that problem this week. It's Thursday night game, the 8.5 point favorites at home. They might cover that. I mean, I don't think it's going to be close. I think they're going to be rocking in Buffalo, singing hey ho, let's go Buffalo. So yeah, I don't think this one is going to be close. I think Tampa Bay is playing good defense, but I think Buffalo at home, their offense is going to show up this week. I just got a feeling. It's one of them feelings.
Just one of them feelings? Okay. Yeah. Well, our next matchup is Cincy versus San Fran. Of course, we just saw Monday Night Football. Purdy had a rough outing. Burrow's getting more and more comfortable further away from the injury, more consistency. I know San Fran needs a bounce back game. I think they go as far as McCaffrey goes at this point. And so for me, it's going to be Cincinnati's game to lose. And it's not so much geared in the fact that Purdy had a bad game on Monday. It goes back to what we've consistently said this entire time. I just feel like Shanahan has built such a system that just works if you don't change it. It's not so much total plug and play. It just can't afford too many changes. So you got Debo out, you got McCaffrey hurt. Like you those aren't plug and play people, right? So it's not a complete plug and play system. So for me right now, with the way it looks, if you don't have that consistency from the run game to ease up the pressure of having to pass as much and compete with Burrow, who's a championship guy, you know what I mean? He knows tough times and short clocks and everything else. So for me, he's just gonna have the better focus, and it's his game to lose. So I'm going with Cincy, unfortunately.
Why you say unfortunately?
Well, because you think at home, right? 49ers are at home.
It's not unfortunate.
Well, I'm just saying, as the road team, you know, a lot of times you lean toward the home team.
Yeah, they 5.5 point favorites at home. I think I agree with you when you talk about the changes. I'll just go one step further. I don't necessarily think it's the changes that hurt. It's when you have the change of talent level that hurts, right? So
yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, that's why I say I just go one step and put that in there, because yeah, it's a plug and play offense, but you also got to have the talent to make that stuff work. So, and I think they still got the talent. And, you know, McCaffrey still McCaffrey, and those guys will be all right. I think at home they bounce. You say bounce back. They lost 2 in a row. They need some bounce back, I guess, if you will. So yeah, I think they get back on track at home this week, and I think it'll be a good game. I like, you know, like you said, Burrow is waking up, hitting Chase. That offense is much different when those two guys are clicking. It opens up everything else for everybody else. I just don't think they're going to be able to run the ball to ease some of the pressure off of that defense, off of the secondary with that defense. So Ward was getting abused against the rookie in Minnesota, but no, I think that defense will make the adjustments that they need to. And again, kind of my same sentiments with Buffalo. I think back home, as Coach says, it'll be some feel good music to be back in there. I mean, feel good medicine to be back home in front of their crowds, you know, sleeping in their beds. And I think I'll go with the 49ers this week. What you say, Coach?
It's much because earlier in the year we were talking about Cincinnati had to win certain games because they were behind the 8 ball when they lost their early games in the year. And like you said, I agree with Willie Ridge T with the injury of it, with Burrow starting to come up with his calf and coming back with his calf, and Cincinnati starting to find their mojo. But I believe, you know, I know Gonzalez said San Francisco take another L. San Francisco has to win this game to get their mojo back, because I mean, they're 2 losses on the road, and in close losses. The Cleveland game to me was an unacceptable loss. But having said that, I think being at home makes a difference, and I'm going with the home team right here with San Francisco. The fact that they're at home, the fact that they're going to be happy to be home because the last 2 losses were on the road.
Well, let's be clear. If you see yourself as a winner, every loss is unacceptable. So at the end of the day,
good point.
We have to still remember, if a team played well, they deserve to win.
Correct.
And usually when we look at the teams that beat the opponent we didn't necessarily think would win, they played really good football. It wasn't total fluke. I would say the Bucks and Falcons game was about as even as a game you could get the whole game.
Correct.
Nobody really played well, but everybody did what they could do. And at the end of the day, the Falcons had one more play to give than the Bucks.
Well, the Falcons also, and not to go back to the recap, but the Falcons also had 2 turnovers inside the 5. You know what I mean?
But that's my
right.
point.
That's what I was going. Yeah. And then
but they made plays.
It's funny that you said that, but you know, we all 3 of us saw the Browns 49ers game. There were 2 questionable calls that could have went either way. So that, I mean, to extend the drive for Cleveland to go get that game win, but San Francisco did miss the game winning field goal chance. So you're right. I mean, either way, you're right. Right. He
So that's
evened
my
himself
point.
out.
So
I thought about that as you went.
I
Yeah.
was letting you get there, and I was gonna say, but
Right.
dude, they
Right.
had
And I thought
They had
about
they had
and
a
I thought
chance.
about I
They
thought
had a
about
chance.
that.
and they had a chance Monday night
Correct.
to
Yeah.
still win.
Correct.
So
Correct.
so
I
that's
thought
why I
about
say
that.
I just don't want to use
I talked myself
unfortunate.
into that one.
I would be more locked into a little bit more locked into unfortunate. It wasn't going to win the game. It wasn't going to win the game, but I would be a little bit more locked into the theory of unfortunate with the tight end dropping the ball with Carr and the Saints, because you have so much illusion of what was going to happen. Do you get the extra point? Do we go to overtime? Like I said, it wouldn't win the game. It wasn't necessarily the exact time moment of the game, but it left you hanging with a what if. Right.
Right.
But the others, they had the opportunity and they completely missed it. So for me, I just think it's, if you're a winner, everything's unfortunate when you lose.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with riding solo. I do understand they need the win. I think Cincinnati needs the win too, because the Steelers playing
Correct.
tough. The Ravens getting in the groove. They division about to be hot to trot again. So
Great point.
it's time to make.
And then you got Cleveland, 2 wins in a row.
So they on the roll. So
with
Yeah,
their new starting quarterback.
Cincinnati at the bottom of that division right now at 3-3.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So
Right.
everybody needs a win.
Yeah.
And including everybody needs a win. Let we get back to Dallas is at home this weekend taking on the LA Rams. And I think it should be another loss for the Rams, actually. And that Dallas should come back well rested from their bye week and pick up a W at home. I don't really have much to say about it. I just feel like the Rams is just playing what they can play with, and Dallas has to deliver. This isn't a game they can afford to lose. So if you want to think about it that way, they have to stay close to Philly as much as possible. They're in a very tough spot with that. If they still want to compete for the division, they're not out of it for the division, so they gotta win what's in front of them as well. So I'm going with Dallas. Coach.
I just looked up the point spread, 6.5. Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is gonna cover that. Should cover that, in my opinion. With that and them being at home, coming off the bye week, and like you said, the Rams. Not underestimating the Rams like big
Oh
time.
yeah.
I just feel like Dallas's talent and Dallas's the fact that they're at home and the fact that Dallas is just, to me, is the better team. With that, I just feel like Dallas is gonna win that game. That's all I got to say about that one.
Yeah, I don't think they that much like off from each other, to be honest. I believe I give them the nod. I'm picking Dallas off my expectation that they should be better off of the bye week, but with Cooper Kupp back, with the young rookie doing well, and if this game is going to hinge on if Dallas is able to get pressure on Stafford. Right. So if they're able to make Stafford uncomfortable, which I think they will, if they're able to make Stafford uncomfortable, then they shouldn't have a problem with this game. The Rams' key to win this game is to keep Stafford clean. If they can keep Stafford clean, I think those receivers can do work on this secondary with Diggs being hurt. So I think that's their key, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to give the edge to Dallas.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen because I'm pretty sure that's what the moment they want to relive and get going. They've got to control the pressure up front.
Yeah.
And not leave it to the secondary. So to round out games, of course, we're going to talk about Houston versus Carolina. And sadly, I thought I would make this game, but it's not a sadly. It's just a different mode for the weekend for me at this point. But I did really, when I get to my ability to private jet, then maybe I'll make all of them in one weekend. But right now,
PJ.
Hey, she said, but hey, we're gonna speak it to existence. She said,
you have to put it out there, right? You have to put it out there to
Private
want
Jet
it.
T.
Hey,
Instead of Wilderness T, it's gonna be Private Jet T.
I surely didn't say anything about what a sponsor or getting somebody to pay for it, right? So hey, I'm putting it out there the right way. I want to work for it, get it, and when it's necessary. I understand about
on the way.
the environment too. So for all our environment people and jet fuel or whatever.
Yeah,
but my point is, I have been looking forward to this game since it was scheduled. We all knew we were playing Carolina this year in Carolina based on knowing how the schedule works, and that this is 8 years to the date of the season of going back there. But also we were looking forward to the matchup of number 1 and 2. I really hope that it doesn't live up to the hype and Stroud just has another great game. It doesn't mean I wish anything different, but that's the matchup. Not often do you get the number 1 versus number 2, and then they're not technically against each other. I get that because they're both quarterbacks, but it's a nice start to the season of their rookie year to see them matched up. So I will have to take this one from TV, but TV land. But my boy D Jones will get this one up close. I'm feeling left out, D, because since you started your journey, this is the first time I don't think I went.
No, I got one. I got with the Texans. Yeah, the only one I got you is
because you went. I know you went to the ATL, but that was different.
Yeah,
that was with the Green Bay. But all of your Texans road trips, I've been there.
Yeah, you got me started in this, and now you're gonna leave me by myself this weekend. But it's cool.
But I got you in good company with the red, white, and blue crew.
Yeah, so, I'm in good hands.
You have your wings. You can fly.
My young bird.
But honestly, I think this should be another good opportunity for the Texans to collectively play together. Consistency with the line. They've had a week off, some fresh legs, and I think Stroud's ready to get back up under center and bring home another win. I think this will be a good opportunity to pick up another road win. Is Stingley off IR? Or is it next week?
They haven't taken him off yet.
No, he's not.
Okay.
It's probably about another 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping each week gives, more fresh legs to our secondary as well. I'm still a believer. I've said it earlier in the show about other teams that the more you play, that's just where you have to get that improvement. There's only so much you can do in midweek snaps. So for me, I'm definitely picking the Texans. What's the line, Brandon? And if you get a second to check it, D Jones, who you going with?
I got you. Houston is a 3-point favorite on the road. Okay. So close. Yeah, I'm going with the home team on this. I think
our home team.
Yeah, our home team. I'm sorry, the home squad as far as the Texans go. Yeah, I think on top of what you already said, T, I think the main key that we're seeing is everybody's buying into D'Amico's swarm mentality on both sides of the ball. Each week they're running the ball a little bit better. They're defending the run much better. So I think with the bye week, you just see that compound and grow. It'll be nice if we can see some pressure. That's the one thing I think that we still lacking is some good consistent QB pressure. So it'll be good if we can show Bryce a few different things and get to him a couple of times early and just stay consistent. I think CJ has just been consistent. I don't see him wavering from that consistency and growing and leading. So he got the city on fire. He got us hyped up. So I think this is one of those games they definitely I expect them to win, and I'll be disappointed if they don't. Even though they don't win on games that I travel to on the road. So we'll see.
Oh, I need you to get a win on the road, friend.
I think I got like 2. I'm not 0, but I got 2.
Okay, because I was gonna say
3. I got 3. I got Chargers, Washington, and Jacksonville. but it's bad that I can tell you those three.
Man, Jacksonville was so long ago.
That was so long ago. That wasn't the first one though. First one was Patriots playoff game.
I know.
But yeah, it was long. It was a long time ago. But yeah, we going with the Texans on this to cover that 3 points for sure. What you say, Coach?
I'm going with the road team in this one per se. You know, I want to see Will Anderson Jr. to be able to sack his old teammate. I want to see CJ Stroud actually showing up, and not just quite frankly don't want us to lose to a winless team. I know it's kind of funny because we've been on the other side, of that phrase per se. And I think it's a lot of people going to come and be like, "Hey, Texans are for real. They have are getting better. They have to win this game." But we're coming off a bye week. I'm curious to see how they respond in a bye week with this new coaching staff. You're getting your people that are coming back off injury. Tank Dell. Um, we don't know about Scruggs just yet, but but the offense looks a little bit better when you got Tank Dell being able to stretch it per se. So I'm going with the road team in our home team. So to get the dub. And Dalton Schultz, he's working out very well as of the last 3 games.
Yeah, they've come on the last 3 games. Him and CJ have been connecting quite a bit. So yeah, I think that's just gonna grow.
And he also mentioned as in Stroud, he said that he had a pretty good connection with him. And I think one thing I'll say about the OC, he definitely made the adjustments needed with Dale out to make the offense look a little different. We're still trying to get more sevens than threes in the red zone, but I'm definitely appreciative of points. It's sad when you
Correct.
say it that way,
Yeah,
but I am.
yeah.
And a funny thought, somebody was wishing me well and about the team last week. And funny enough, they're not really into football. And so their comment, they knew enough to know enough, but their comment was, have a great weekend, Bulls on parade. And I laughed because one, we were on a bye. So it tells you they don't keep up that much. And then two, we haven't really used Bulls on parade. And
I'm
it's so
cool with it
funny
though. I'm
because
cool with it though. I like that
I
one.
am too, but I was
Well,
like, it's so funny because you hear it and it sounds ancient now, right?
Yeah, so long ago.
right, right.
So long
And
ago.
I find that quite hilarious how you can get so engulfed quickly into something else. But I think the buy-in, I don't think there is an equal at this point of a buy-in of a coach. And what I mean by that is the immediate effect of the buy-in of every player that comes into the door, of every fan, of the personnel in the higher ups and the media. There isn't a single person not on the buy-in. When you think about us being a newly team, because we still are a new new team in the sense of years, right? And when you think about the number of coaches we've had, there's always been one component. We all know that when O'Brien arrived, there was a huge discussion about carrying on the Patriot way and just bringing the tree. And then you had players who had been here for so long, they were loyal to Kubiak, that he was gone, but they wasn't really glad he was gone. They tried to understand it. They didn't all see eye to eye with what was going on. There was a shift, there was a rift. So there's a change when you're not picking up the paper or following the blogs or the social media where they're waiting to attack the coach. And I actually haven't seen it from a standpoint on any 3 parts of the ball, actually. Even when they talked about the offense, they said, it's a complicated offense and everybody's buying in to learn it. It's so for me, I just think it's something great to see overall. And I'm still Bulls on parade just as much as Swarm, but I just thought it was interesting when you really look at the dynamics of the hire and how much it changed immediately with nothing in the win column. And the anticipation of people we're not, we better get 10 wins this year and we better. It's more like, I just can't wait to see the game.
Well, I mean, the piggyback off of that, because you said the buy-in with the players, but think about the media, the social media aspect of it. Even at the games, on the third downs, they're going Texans swarm. I mean, they're buying into that. Uh, I mean, I know we're saying it because we see it at home a lot, but I haven't seen a buy-in from a coaching staff from an NFL perspective in a long time where all the players are all in to put this shift in. I mean, maybe the San Francisco 49ers with Shanahan and them, once they got to the Super Bowls, and then they bought into that way per se. But I agree with you, is the buy-in. Even like you said, people don't even watch the games and didn't watch the games. Now they're watching the games and say, hey, how did so and so go? And then we're looking at the sideline and you see a coach jumping up and down and being engaged instead of just sitting there with his arms folded. I mean,
Yeah, I like it.
It's a different energy.
I like it. Well, that's really it for us tonight. We're not going to keep everybody long. There's a game 7. How's the game 7 looking, Brandon, right now?
Arizona's winning 3-2. Phillies now got a man on second. So
okay. I saw a pretty good game, better than the one last night in Houston, depending on which team you cheered for. And so we wouldn't be, fair to the show if we didn't acknowledge that Dallas won the ALCS last night, because we always talked about, our Stros.
Arlington, I'll give them that credit. Arlington.
Dallas, Arlington, whatever they are.
But
that's all they getting. And shout out again to my boy Dwaylen and Matthew Jock. I mean, my boy Matthew say he got him some tickets, but he might have to travel to see his team. Hopefully it works out for you, Matt. Looks like if Arizona can hold on. But at the end of the day, I've seen him like grind it out. He went to the last World Series for Texas, and he came up short, obviously. And so I'm definitely wishing him the best. And Don, you can say whatever you want. I'm not calling you that because you don't represent all of the state. So it is what it is. You can name your team whatever you want. I said Dallas. So you cheer for the teams in the DFW at Arlington.
You said they Dallas, huh?
Still South Oklahoma to me.
And but we happy to help out our baseball little brother. We've owned we
ain't happy about it, but sometimes little brother
but sometimes your mama say you gotta share. Your mama say you gotta share sometimes. So we sharing. So now
say you go to the party, take your little brother to the party.
Take your little brother to the party. Okay. So
it's your turn.
Now.
All right.
In 2005 we lost. In 2017 we won. Y'all lost over a decade ago. That means y'all better do what? Win.
Don't go embarrassing us now.
Don't be embarrassing us.
Don't go in.
Because if y'all embarrass us, it's not gonna be the state. It's gonna be the DFW.
DFW Rangers.
So, all right, little brother, we wish you well. And side note in fandom, because I am a true snob about fandom. Let's be very clear. We all know, because we can track it back. We can track it back to the years, because there were some different years in when the Texans would make the playoffs and the Dallas wouldn't. I ain't never seen nobody from Dallas say good luck Houston ever in my life. So don't start this whole support Texas support. Stop it. Stop it. You ain't even offered to spit on us when we on fire. So don't do it. Don't do it. You know, it's okay too. It's
I don't
okay.
live by that code. I don't live by
The
that code.
same way.
If we don't win it, I don't want none of them. If the Rockets don't win, I ain't cheering for nobody else.
And no Mavericks fan has ever said, "Congratulations, Rockets, go Rockets!"
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
The same way I feel about the Colorado Buffaloes, because I'm a Cornhusker fan. It's the same way I feel about the Texas Rangers. I don't support
Miss Lou. You know I respect you, Miss Lou, and you do too much for me to come on here and hate. But you from East Texas, so that's what your problem is. You from East Texas, so you kind of exempt. So I'm gonna let you have your way because you've been on a seesaw like this the whole time. You grew up a Dallas fan, and that's why you still a loyal Dallas fan. You adopted Houston for the sake of sports and enjoying it on a regular Sunday. But let's be real, Miss Lou. Who do you always sell your tickets for? Dallas. So you belong to Dallas. You belong to Dallas because you don't sell your Dallas tickets for Houston. So you belong to Dallas. But I love you though, because keep selling them because I'm ready to buy. All right, Coach B. Pat. I'm not gonna do a monologue tonight.
No,
that's a lot. I am.
We're not. I was say we're not gonna get one.
No sermon. No sermon.
No sermon. No sermon. But I will say this.
That bye week got you.
No. I will say this, and everybody knows it's true because if I'm lying, call me out on it. Derek done known me more than half my life, and anybody can say I have never. How old am I? 47, almost 48. I have never in almost 48 years of my life used a man for anything. Dinner, a ride, a gift, a pass.
Cheesecake Factory.
It don't even matter. My point in saying that is I don't try to entice people to try to use them for free dates or waste their time or their energy. If the energy don't match, then I let it be. And I'm not going to argue with you about it or whatever. But I'm really concerned about us, and I'm saying us because I'm going to talk culturally. I'm really concerned about us and this social media norm where we flip on each other to the point where we're attacking, to the point where it's so negative, it's just dirty. And when I say that, and I say us, because it's not just women, it's also men. And I feel like it has to be said. And I'm saying it. And all the jokes that I tell, they're arbitrary things. They're unreal things. You know, the Leo thing. It's not a real thing. Okay. But at the end of the day, I'm not advocating for degrading men, and especially Black men, because I got a daddy. Okay. And I love my daddy. So I'm not in the business of that. And so I think I know social media, we do things, we post things, but I don't think we need to insult what somebody else wants to do. And that's whatever it is, right? If I want to go Steak 48 on a Tuesday, that's what I want to do. And that's where I'm going to go. And if I want to put it on my Facebook page, that's what I want to do. And if you don't want to see it, get off. That's all you got to do. Get off. But I'm also not going to insult you for what you want to do. But you can't be mad because I don't want to do what you want to do. Okay? That's vice versa. Okay? And I eat at the Cheesecake Factory. I love the Cheesecake Factory. But if somebody else don't want to go on a date there because that's some other life they live, that's their business. But you ain't got to put the person on blast. And if you're doing it for skits, that's even sicker. But I'm not totally convinced. I can't prove it. I'm not totally convinced that women gave all the things that were put on that list. I feel like that list was created to just create a divide and have us disrespecting each other out here, because one meme is saying it was a collective group, and then another meme is saying it was all from the same woman. And some of that stuff should be on that list. And then again, everybody got different interests. Me personally, all my friends know I don't like hookah. So if somebody asked me to go to a hookah place, I would say, can we do something different? That's the proper way to handle it. But if the person don't want to do something different, they can just tell me no. And it's okay. If you tell me you want to go to the game with me and you say this your budget for seats, I offer to buy my seat. I do that with my friends. Do I not? I say, look, You don't have to sit where I sit. Do you want to do this? Or I say, let's do it this way for this. I'm going to make sure it all work for us. So I'm a compromiser and a giver at the same time. And I don't like what I'm seeing. So y'all got to stop. I just want y'all to stop. And you don't have to like my opinion, but I want to give it anyway. Y'all need to stop. Because I don't know what has happened. And people make assumptions about people all the time. True fact, Coach B. Pat made an assumption about me when I gave him passes to hang out with me at the first game. He started talking about what kind of person I might date or whatever. And I'm like, dude, who is that person? And he quickly learned that ain't even me. That ain't even me. That ain't even how I roll. And so I got everybody back. But I am a food snob, not a restaurant snob, or what? A food snob. And all the people I travel with, I pick the food most of the time when we travel for sports because they want to make sure it's something I can eat. Not because I'm snobby about how we got to spend this much, because I got a weak stomach. So some stuff I done been to restaurants that they want to go to and I don't eat. That's how you compromise sometimes. You go for your friends and you just sit there. Now, if you want me to go eat with you at this place that I don't want to eat at, I'll go and I will order water and will not be mad that that's where you want to eat, because I'm okay with that. So we'll catch y'all next time. D Jones, I want you to have a blast. I want y'all to be better to each other out here. I'm still going to make Leo jokes because that's my right and that's my thing. And it's not real. Okay. I have a high requirement. It's never going away, but I ain't gonna make it the focus of my post because that's what I want to do. You want to talk about what you want to talk about on your page, you do that. When I don't like what you talking about, I unfollow you. You could do the same. All right, y'all have a good night. Coach B. Pat, tell the people where they can find you at when you're not in entanglement.
Well, Willis T showed up at the end. Preacher T, pastor.
I love y'all. Coach, I'm saying I'm tired.
No, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Coach P. Pat on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, you get at your boy on TikTok and Twitter at that boy D Jones, and on Instagram that boy D. Jones. Holla at your boy.
Oh, well, we already know where I'm at. It's the Gransberry. We're going to thank Gonzalez for checking us out. And oh, wait, Jonathan, let's be clear. You missed my point. I didn't say who put her on social media. I said she shouldn't be doing it. I said she shouldn't be trying to shame the dude. If she don't want to go, just don't go.
Just don't go.
That was my point. I'm not talking about y'all put her on social media. So you missed my point. I'm talking about respect the dude. If that was what the dude offered and she don't want it, leave that shit alone. You got me cursing. It's a good night. It's time to go.
After a sermon,
I don't even want to curse. I apologize to the people. Y'all have a good night. Peace. God damn.